The only thing that we're interested in is putting money in your wallet. If you want to bet the fights, if you want to have a little bit of action, you are in the right place with my partner, Ian Parker. I am Brett Okamoto.
We're ready to rock between our parlays, our props, our straight picks. It's time to make money. Let's go.
Last week it was Denver, Colorado. This week the UFC is back in its hometown of Las Vegas with a UFC fight night from the Apex facility. It is the number 3 ranked Amanda Lemos taking on Jandiroba. This is a key strawweight bout. Could be looking at a future title contender here at 115 pounds. Hello, everybody. Brett Okamoto alongside Ian Parker. We are here to talk about these fights, as always, from a gambling perspective. Hopefully put a little, I'm going to say a little more money in your pockets, because Ian has been doing a tremendous job lately, and he did so again last week in Denver. Run us through our picks last week at UFC Fight Night, Ian.
We were one split decision with Ponzinibbio away from a truly excellent night. We went 4-2. We hit Rose Namajunas. We got tremendous value, even at that number there. Pons lost on the split. Dober Silva to end by TKO or KO. It got to the third round, but my God, was that as violent as we predicted. Rodriguez by TKO, KO decision. That one threw me off a little bit. He threw himself in a guillotine after landing early against Arosa. But then Jackson, Montel Jackson, I love you. You made that so sweat-free. And Frem Petrosky over 1.5. We also hit our parlay for the third week in a row. Let's make it magic number 4 this week. Back at the Apex we go.
Sweat-free Ian Parker is my favorite Ian Parker, I gotta say. And now we're looking at a UFC fight night this weekend back inside the Apex. It is a 6-fight main card. You can find it on ESPN as well as ESPN+. Prelims are going to be on ESPN too. But this is your main card, Saturday, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. You can stream it. You can watch it on ESPN. But the main event is Amanda Lemos taking on Virna Jandiroba, number 3 versus number 5. Very tight odds. So looking forward to talking to that about that main event in detail. And let's go ahead and jump right into it. Jandiroba, I believe, Ian, and correct me if I'm wrong here, actually opened a little higher. She is at minus 130 now, but she opened slightly higher. So a little bit of love early for Amanda Lemos, yes?
You know what? I'm a little surprised that the odds are the way they are. I do love this matchup. I think it makes a ton of sense where they sit in the division. You know, Lemos has fought for the title before. Jandiroba's on quite a little bit of a run, getting a nice win over Lupi Goidenez in her last fight. We saw her beat Mackenzie Dern. But to me, Brett, it's kind of odd here. You know, it's not like Lemos is really had not a tough road. You know, she did go all 5 rounds with the champ. She has some nice wins. And now we're sitting here, and she's getting a second opportunity, as your point, to potentially break through towards a title shot somewhere in the next year if she gets past Jandiroba. And a lot of people are sitting there thinking, wow, Jandiroba is going to be able to, you know, grapple her way to victory, get a sub. Amanda Lemos is also a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, has a sub or 2 to her name. But the difference here, in my opinion, is the power and the striking and the 5-round experience from Amanda Lemos. So for me, I think there's value on her as the underdog. However, we're going to kind of change our tune on this. I'm going to go over 2.5 rounds here. One, if Jandiroba is able to grapple, I think Lemos' preventative jiu-jitsu, if I want to call it, or anti-grappling seems to be the fun word that commentary's been using lately. I really believe she'll be able to hold up the submissions. I think this fight can go kind of deep, over 2.5 rounds. I think this fight even goes the distance to make it easier that way. So we're going to go that way, but it would not surprise me if Lemos got the win as the underdog.
All right, so we got a pick on the total there in the main event. Let's move to the co-main event. It's at 185 pounds. Brad Tavares taking on June Young Park. Tavares plus 135. Park coming back in minus 160. 2 guys, we've seen them in the octagon plenty. A lot of film on both of these guys. What do you think of this line of minus 160 for Park?
You know what? I'm going to go with the Iron Turtle here. I do think that Brad Tavares, although always tough to beat, right? He's coming off a knockout loss. But when you got someone, the Iron Turtle, who I think, even though he's coming off a loss as well to Andre Muniz, he's got more ways to win here. I think the cardio is going to play a factor. I think he'll push that pace. He's got to close the distance. Tavares is hard to grapple, but if he can close that distance, make this a clinch, make this a real annoying grind, I think Iron Turtle comes out on top. I don't love that Tavares's I believe his last 3 losses have been by knockout. He's getting a little bit older. He's been around a while. So I'm going to go with Park in this one.
All right, so we're going to get to the rest of this main card. But first, we've got Parker's props of the night. What do you got for some prop bets at UFC Fight Night?
Yeah, you know what? We're going to add a little bit of a new segment here, trying to mix it up. And there was a few props that I saw that really stuck out to me. One, Steve Garcia to win by TKO or KO at plus money is fantastic. His opponent has been dropped, I believe, in his last 4 or 5 fights. Garcia, although he's been knocked a few times in that round 1, tends to come back, carries insane power, and this is a great matchup for him. Park versus Tavares. This is going to go all 3 rounds. I think Park gets the decision here. Love that. And last but not least, Miranda Maverick is probably fighting the lesser of competition she's had in a very long time. I expect her to get another win, grappling style. She's going to use it and grind her by decision as well. So Garcia TKO, Park and Maverick eat by decision. Those are my props for the week.
There you go. We haven't even talked about 2 fights so far, and you've already got 5 bets from Mr. Ian Parker. Let's take a look at the rest of this main card, and you kind of gave away your pick on the first one. It's a 145-pound fight between Steve Garcia and Sang-Hoo Choi. You like Garcia here.
Yeah, it would be weird if I picked Choi to win, right? After doing the prop with Garcia. No, I love Garcia in this place. I think after his last 2 wins, we got to put some respect on his name with that knockout power. And his opponent does not have a good chin. He swings recklessly and he keeps his hands low. Garcia gets this one done.
All right, from there we go to the lightweight division. It is Kurt Holobaugh taking on Kenan Khrushchev, and you like Khrushchev here at -130.
Yeah, I'm going to go that way here. Kurt Holobaugh coming off a loss to Trey Ogden. He's getting a little bit older. He's fighting a younger opponent who, up until his last fight against Elvis Brenner, was on quite the run. Good knockout artist in himself. I'm going to go with the young lion here. I like the line. I just think Holobaugh is limited. I think he really, that last performance says a lot, not in a good way. We're going to go opposite and take the favorite here.
From there, we go to 125 pounds. Cody Durden had been on a nice win streak, took a loss in his last one. He's taking on Bruno Silva. And you like Silva here to get it done against Durden as a slight underdog.
You know what? This fight is a tough fight. If Cody Durden can't out-grapple Silva for 3 rounds, I think he's going to be in trouble. Silva is excellent on the ground. You just haven't seen it because he's been knocking people out. So I'm going to go with the underdog here. I think that power could put a damper in Durden's wrestling.
And how about this for a fight to open up the main card? It's Doo Ho Choi for the second time in just 4 years. He's taking on Bill Algeo. Algeo kind of a big favorite here, and you like him at -170.
I do like him here. Korean Wonder Boy hasn't fought in a while, and towards that last break, he was just taking so much damage. And I think even though Algeo is coming off a loss himself, this is the right opponent for Algeo. I think he's better everywhere. I think he's going to drag Korean Wonder Boy into deep waters. Let's take Algeo. And I hate to say it's a safe play. I don't think any bet is safe, but I think Algeo is one of the better plays on this card.
All right, so you got Parker's props. You've got a lean or a pick on every single fight on the main card. Let's move to that prelim slate. You can find it at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 Pacific on ESPN 2 and ESPN Plus. Give us a pick for every single one of the prelims, Ian.
Brett, this fight, Lee and Haider Emil, under the radar for fight of the night. Both guys put on a tremendous pace. However, Emil gets reckless, got rocked a bunch of times. Granted, he won. I like Lee here. I would not go any higher than that number. I would even look at under 2.5. Not a bad play. Brian Keller and Cody Gibson over 1.5 rounds. I know Keller has lost in the first round against knockout guys. Gibson has been very tentative. He just doesn't carry that same power. If Gibson does get it done, round 2 or round 3. Miranda Maverick on the money line. I don't even mind playing that here. I think she is so much better than Barbosa every which way this fight goes. Trey Ogden at -105. He should be the favorite. Pudilova, flip a coin. I think she's the better one all around. And I'm going to go with Muhammad Usman here. Peterson's a straight wrestler. Usman's experience in striking, I can't believe I'm saying this, has to be better in this fight.
The parlays have been very successful for us in 2024. Where are we going this Saturday, Ian?
3 chalk to +153. We're going to go Tavares and Park over 2.5 rounds. We're going to go back to Miranda Maverick here. And then we're going to go Luana Carolina and Lucy Pudilova also over 2.5 rounds. 3 fights, +150 and change. Let's go.
All right, +150 on that one. What kind of odds are we getting on the long shot parlay at UFC Fight Night?
Pretty decent odds with only 2 fights to win by method of victory. We're going to go with Lee by KO or TKO. Haider Emil, he is like a whirling dervish. He is a chaotic tornado who leaves his hands down, swings for the fences. Lee's more precise. He can get it done there. And Cody Gibson, he's got a good Darce choke. He's got a good guillotine. And Brian Keller has been subbed out multiple times, leaves his neck out there on lazy shots when rocked. Let's get a +1160 for those 2 guys and their method of victory.
2-teamer at 12-1. I don't mind that whatsoever. And now how about we'll go on to our bread and butter, Ian Parker's best bets for Lemos versus Jandiroba.
Main event over 2.5 rounds. Jandiroba has not been finished in her UFC career. Lemos, when she has gotten the finish, has been in rounds 2 or 3. Give me Steve Garcia. Take it a step further. Get plus odds. Him to win by knockout TKO. Bill Algeo over the Korean Wonder Boy, who has not been around in quite some time. We're going to go Kuchevsky here over Kurt Holloway. And last but not least, Brett, I love this play with Trey Ogden against Mike Raujabov. He was plus 115 a week ago. People are starting to realize Raujabov, he's got power. His cardio is kind of strange. He is a zombie. Trey Ogden is a very high-level IQ fighter that does not make mistakes. He will get this done at minus 105.
All right. Thank you so much to ESPN Odds, the app. Make sure you're downloading that. That's where we get all of our lines for this show, UFC Best Bets. And thank you to Ian Parker for giving us great knowledge as always. Hope you enjoyed the show. Hope we gave you some good information, and come right back here same time next week, UFC 304. It is a big English card, and we have a lot of great fights to talk about from a gambling perspective. As always, can't wait to talk about Leon Edwards, Tom Aspinall, all of the great fighters on that card. It should be a great card, and it should be one, hopefully, as always, that we will make a profit of. Until then, enjoy the fights this weekend. See you next week.